I didn't expect to think about him again. Not really. I told myself it was just a moment, one of those small, harmless moments life sometimes gives you, and then quietly takes back. I went home that evening, fed the cat, listened to him complain loudly as if he'd survived a personal tragedy, and thought, well, that was nice. That's all. But the strange thing about that's all is how often it turns out to be a lie. The next morning, I caught myself smiling while making coffee. Not a big smile, just a soft one. The kind you don't notice until it's already there. I told myself it meant nothing. I always do. At my age, you learn to be careful with emotions. You label them. You put them on shelves. You tell them to behave. Still, he appeared in my thoughts in the most inconvenient moments. While choosing tomatoes at the store. While folding laundry. While standing in the kitchen wondering why silence can feel so loud sometimes. We started talking more. Nothing dramatic. No grand confessions. Just messages that felt easy. He had that rare ability to listen, without waiting for his turn to speak. And when he laughed, it wasn't loud. It was warm. I noticed something else too. I didn't feel the need to impress him. I didn't straighten my posture when I spoke. I didn't search for clever sentences afterward, wondering if I sounded strange. I was just me, and that scared me a little, because comfort can be dangerous. Comfort can make you forget the rules you carefully built. After life taught you a few lessons the hard way. At one point, I caught myself thinking, this is how it starts, isn't it? And then I laughed at myself. Because I wasn't a teenager. I was a grown woman with adult children, a favorite mug, and a very strong opinion about how loud music should be after 9 p.m. Still, something was shifting. We talked about simple things. About how small towns know everything before you do. About how silence can be either peaceful or painfully loud. About how freedom sometimes feels suspiciously like loneliness. Once he said, you know, I like that you don't try to fill every pause. And I thought, well, that makes one of us. Then came the moment that made everything slightly ridiculous. I ran into Laura. She looked at me the way people do, when they already know something you don't. That slow smile. That sparkle of anticipation. Oh, she said. So, how did it go? I blinked. How did what go? The meeting, she said. With Michael. And, in that moment, I felt my brain gently disconnect from reality. Because suddenly everything made sense. And also nothing did. I laughed. Not politely. Not socially. I laughed the kind of laugh that escapes before you can stop it. Laura, I said, I think we need to talk. She stared at me. I stared back. And somewhere between her confusion and my sudden understanding, I realized something important. The man I had been getting to know wasn't the man I was supposed to meet. And yet, he was exactly the one I needed to meet. Life has a strange sense of humor like that. Later that evening, I sat on my couch, Cat judging me from the armrest, and thought about how easily we try to control everything. Who we meet, when we meet them, what it's supposed to mean. And yet the best moments always seem to happen when the plan quietly steps aside. I didn't know where this was going. I still don't. But for the first time in a long while, that uncertainty didn't scare me. It felt alive. And maybe that's enough for now. Because sometimes, the right story doesn't begin the way we expect. It simply begins when we stop trying to direct it. Some connections don't arrive loudly. They just stay and slowly change everything. And maybe that's how real stories begin. If this moment feels familiar, or reminds you of something you once felt, I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this story, Stay with me. There's more ahead.